What decision did we just make?
We're gonna pull apart this original STI motor that came out of this and steal the heads off it. Because we need some heads if we're gonna build a badass 1200 horsepower motor.
It was either tear apart this one or go to Subaru and just buy some new heads, but we're gonna need this motor in the long run.
And these are good heads. I mean, don't get me wrong. These will totally do the job. I mean, they're gonna go off and get ported and built. And you know, this motor only has like 20,000 miles on it, and it's been well taken care of, well maintained. I don't see an issue with using these at all. Big fail.
So make sure you drain all the oil out.
Yeah,
twice.
all of it. It totally just broke. It's totally bent. It's totally schwanked.
Get the Gorilla Glue out.
What was supposed to be a simple engine teardown? Okay, it's on there, but we'll see. We'll see if it lasts. All right, check and try. Wow, that is on there. Big link in the chain broke. There we go. Comes right off. I mean, it's like barely even on there.
I should call her.
Buy like a little impact, like a little guy. Shout out to Milwaukee. Send me some tools, man. Put them to use. Promise. So basically, any of you that are wondering what this guy is, this guy will keep these two cams locked in a top dead center position, which basically means that these valves are actually open right now, and that's how you would time it. You would use it with the same exact tool as well. But to make sure that when all the tension of the timing belt is released and you don't have this kind of tool, you want to make sure that the valves don't smash into the piston, because at that point, it wouldn't just be pulling off head. It would be pulling off a head with repair of valves and bent valves. So we'll go ahead and tighten this guy up. Should keep these in place so that we can start pulling off the pulleys here and go from there. So basically you just want to get them tight so that they stay in this exact orientation. They're magnetic, so it automatically sticks to it. But when you tighten it like this, it makes sure that these bolts won't move inside of this. So I guess at this point, these guys are pretty free floating under timing configuration. So pull off the pulleys and relieve the tension, and it is at top dead center, so basically the pistons are halfway down the piston wall. So there is a good amount of gap between the piston where it sits right now and the actual deck surface of the head and the deck. So even having those valves open, it shouldn't hit, but if you didn't put it at top dead center and you didn't have this on there, they would most likely 100% hit, and you'd be in a bigger repair bill. So basically what I do is I pull off this bottom one first. It's gonna relieve this tension. See how the belt stays? Because these are still fixed, but all the tension is now 100% off. So at this point, basically this guy is left, which is a 10, and then the actual tensioner itself. And this guy uses this to push down and create the tension. If you were to reuse this, which in this case, you know, this motor only has like 20,000 miles, it's probably reusable. For a high horsepower build, I probably wouldn't. There is a way to recompress this in a vise, and if you do that, you could put the pin back through and reuse it again. But over time, the cylinder here will lose its charge. If you were to replace, or you get to like 100,000 miles, which is Subaru's normal manufacturer spec to replace the timing belt, you should just replace all the timing components and stuff too. So if you're hard up, I would say 20,000 miles is probably fine, but in my case, it's gonna get all new, everything. Gotta do it right. That's the only way I know how to build successful Subarus, is doing it right. All right, big shout out to Company 23 for these beautiful Subaru tools.
Found the oil.
So this is, remember, mind you, this is a from the factory block. It looks like Subaru basically puts a little bit of RTV right here in this gap between this bridge and the actual surface, because everywhere else, you know, we can pull it up here. There's no RTV. But then we get to right here in the corners. See, and there is RTV. So if it's gonna leak, that's typically where it leaks. Getting all the cams and everything out so that we can get access to the head studs, or the head bolts. On a stock setup, they're head bolts. So I mentioned this in one of my other videos, but I'm gonna mention it again because this is a different casting. Subaru has pretty much made this pretty bulletproof to where when you take the cams and caps and bridge off, that you can't really mess up the orientation, because obviously they're machined one way from the factory as far as like the journals and stuff go. Most people say, oh, you know, pull it apart and I gotta make sure it goes back on the same exact way. Well, luckily for you, Subaru has put markings on the actual caps themselves, which if you look right here, this casting says 715. This is the actual casting number, manufacturer number, I guess you could say. And then on the caps here, this says 3I715. And then down here, it says 3E715. And then an arrow pointing forward, which would be the front of the motor. This bridge can only go on one way, so it's only labeled once, but it also says 715. So basically this is cylinder 3, which would be the back of the motor. Cylinder 1 would be the front of the motor on the passenger side. On the other side it'll be 2.4, which we'll show you there too. But basically it's saying cylinder 3 intake, cylinder 3 exhaust, and casting number 715. Pretty bulletproof way to where you don't really mess up. And the bolts don't necessarily matter either. You could claim all day that yes, they do, but I've done it both ways and I've never had any problems. Like on my car now, I actually replaced one of these. Never came with it, just bought it from Subaru. And There you have number one, no, first cam. By the looks of it, it doesn't look like there's much wear at all. I know how to build them. I know how to take care of them. Yeah. I mean, you can look at the buckets. Look at the bucket. Look at how shiny they are. They're like literally different colors. They're like rainbow. That's a really good sign that metal is well protected and well taken care of. The studs on my motor would not come off this easy, I promise you. They probably hold double the amount of torque. So there is an orientation to putting her torque sequence of installation and removal, basically just reversed. Bend over, baby.
What did he say?
At this point, we're ready to pull off a head. All jokes aside, should come off real. Yep. At some point, I'm gonna have to pull off all these accessories, but probably not right now. But in the meantime, I want to put these cams back in, and they are labeled. So this is right intake. See how it says RIN? Right in the middle, it's right intake. So since this is a right head, you just find the intake, which would be these ports, exhaust here. And then it's the same thing on this one, it says REX. All the cams, even aftermarket ones, should be labeled like that too. So we'll put that back on, put this guy back on. Just for storage purposes. Put these caps back on. So this is 3I. So yeah, 3I for intake, 3E for exhaust. Yes, I did start them hand tight, in case you cared. Want to see what's underneath it? Oh, I mean, pretty clean. The only thing I just don't like about Subaru motors in general is just the emission system. It's a terrible, terrible design where they literally put the oil and the blow-by back into the intake. So you get all this carbon buildup so fast, it's just dumb. Totally missed one. So I don't reuse these gaskets. Always replace the gaskets, no matter what. It's like the cheapest insurance. So on this one you can see this is 638. So 638, 638, 638. So you can see each one is marked differently. And then here it says 4I683. And then this one says 683 down here. And then this one here is 4E638. So cylinder 4, intake exhaust. I've been debating this for such a long time, dude.
Well, I'm glad that was your final push.
I think I just needed to hear it in a different way. So on this one, you can see it says LIN. It says LIN for left intake, and then LEX for left exhaust. So it's pretty bulletproof, guys. I mean, definitely not rocket science. Alright, ready to pull this baby off. So it should come off pretty easy. Just like that. So from there, basically this head gasket is trash. Not gonna reuse that. And from here, basically I'm gonna go ahead and get it all put back together so that I can package it up to be sent out and to be able to store it. Everything looks really good. I'm super happy, very confident. We won't have any issues when it comes to machining or what they have to say about it. I am gonna send these out to Head Games Motorworks in New Jersey. David over there, really awesome guy, very talented, and basically I'm gonna send them out to him to be ported because he does some of the best porting work I've ever seen. Most of it's all hand porting. He has moved into some CNC porting. He's made multiple Subarus achieve 1200 horsepower. He's made multiple Supras go super fast as well. At this kind of rate, I think we just go to the best. With the best, we should be able to be close to the best, right? Other than that, everything looked really good. Probably end off the video here. This short block is for sale. If anyone wants it, bang my line, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. In the next coming weeks, we'll go ahead and I'll probably send these out on Monday. Once we get them back, I have all the parts to assemble them, like the cams and all the valve springs, and David will do all the valves, make sure they're cut right and everything. And from there, we should be able to assemble them and just wait on a short block. Short block is about 6 to 8 weeks out, unfortunately, so we're kind of held up there. For some reason, Outfront and all these other companies have gotten super busy. I don't know, apparently everyone wants to spend money, or who knows what, but before it used to be like 2 to 3 week turnaround, now it's 6 to 8. So there's a whole bunch of other things I got going on here too. I like, my main boy Mike here behind the camera. Super stoked to have him come on board. Been working on a lot of other things too, as far as sponsorships and a bunch of other stuff goes. So we are making progress slowly but surely. I'm sure everyone knows that unfortunately right now things are back ordered. Things are very hard to get. Parts sourcing, availability, all that has been really challenging. And honestly, I'm trying to work around it the best way I can. So I apologize in advance, but I do want you guys to know that we are 100% moving forward and things are looking as good as they probably can. There is some other news too that I want to break to you guys, but I'll probably break it to you in the next video just about the upcoming season. Yeah, stay tuned. Don't forget to like this video, comment, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think, if you're excited or not, because I sure am. Share this with all your buddies, and that's it. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.